You're watching Good Morning Charleston with John Bruce, Tessa Spencer, and Chad Watson. This is Good Morning Charleston.
Making news this morning, arraignment day. Suspected Mother Emanuel Church gunman Dylan Roof will appear in federal court this morning. ABC News 4's Rob Malia has the details on today's hearing. 1 week has passed now since that massacre inside Mother Emanuel. Last night, members of that iconic church held Bible study inside the same room where those 9 lives were lost. A powerful message that while this community is still in mourning, the work to heal must go on.
John, we saw the picture of the folks already lined up along Calhoun Street.
Yeah, and Tessa, we want to give you a better picture of that. I told you that about several dozen people were lining up outside the TD Arena last half hour. Let's take a look at that right now. I'm going to step out of the shot. You can see right down Calhoun Street, that is the front of the line right now. That sea of people stretches all the way back to John Street along Marion Square. I can tell you that right now that is at least 2 or 3 blocks, probably 500, 700 people already lined up trying to get inside this funeral here at the TD Arena. New this morning, a bill centered around abortion about to be introduced on Capitol Hill. It's called the Pain-Capable Unborn Child Protection Act. You can hear it right there, the public demanding answers. And today, another civil rights group will get involved. We showed you the video of that shooting. What it does not appear to show you, of course, is a fight between Walter Scott and Officer Michael Slager. The former officer said there was a struggle. Walter Scott's mother believes that her son wouldn't fight officers over that taser. Some tense moments for a Somerville family overnight after fire ripped through their home.
Luckily, no one was seriously hurt, but as Rob Malia explains to us live from the scene, that fire has left them homeless and shaken up. Rob, good morning.
Charleston police say they've arrested a man and charged him with murder. They say he shot and killed a woman in a likely case of domestic violence. Investigators say that man is 28-year-old William Gould of Somerville. Neighbors say he is the victim's ex-boyfriend. They say that Gould moved down to their West Ashley home a couple of weeks ago. Friends say the victim was an exceptional mother who also worked as a paralegal. The coroner's office has not yet released her name. New this morning, the CIA under review. President Obama wants to know more about that drone airstrike in Pakistan that killed 2 hostages held by al-Qaeda. Tessa, good morning. We can tell you that Officer Slager is indeed in jail this morning. He was arrested about 6 o'clock last night. He was brought to the Alcan and Charleston County Detention Center by SLED agents, the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. We can also tell you there is a demonstration planned for 9:30 this morning in front of this building here at North Charleston City Hall. As you can imagine, the community obviously incensed about that video that has since gone viral. Already, I can tell you I've taken calls from Ireland, the UK, BBC. Everybody wants to know about this story. They're trying to draw parallels, of course, between the situation here in North Charleston and in Ferguson, Missouri. Right now, I can tell you it was a peaceful night here in North Charleston. We, of course, did not see that violence that plagued that community in the Midwest. We have not seen any of those protests, though one is, of course, scheduled for later today. In Berkeley County news, for the first time in a little more than 20 years, voters will soon have a new sheriff. Tomorrow, they'll head to the polls to vote on a very important runoff. Brian Adams will face off against Dwayne Lewis. The candidate with the most votes will then move on to the general election to face Democratic candidate Anthony Smalls. That race will take place on June 9th. The election comes after the county's longtime sheriff, Wayne DeWitt, resigned from office earlier this year following his arrest for DUI and leaving the scene of an accident. And if you head out to Sullivan's Island over the weekend, no doubt you saw the signs and a whole lot of them. Voters will head to the polls there to decide 4 town council positions. Voting begins Tuesday at 7 o'clock in the morning. Those voting booths will remain open until 7 o'clock at night. You can vote at Sunrise Presbyterian Church on Middle Street. Well, coming up after the break, one country couple is giving away a free house and a farm, mortgage paid off.
What?
I know, right? You won't believe all you have to do for a chance to win it. Details on that coming up. Well, it is back to business. Governor Nikki Haley sworn into office for a second term Wednesday. That's just one of several inauguration events throughout the day. And our own Bill Burr had a front row seat.
You almost got me on that one.
Yeah, that's, you got to play defense too a little bit.
Okay, I was like, duck, and then come around here.
Scared of you.
Okay, there we go.
Big knuckles. Big fight. Some calling it the fight of the century. Everybody just a week away now. Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao. The article gives a brief description of each place and tells us the don't miss dish. So let's see who tops that list. I wholeheartedly agree with this recommendation. Fig came in at #1.
Never been.
Chef Jason Stanhope and Mike Lotta's Place open on Meeting Street. They're most known for their coddled Sea Island farm egg.
What is that? You
That
have to be
I have
nice
not
to
had.
it? You have to be nice to
You
the
have to
egg?
coddle
Oh,
it, yes.
come on, I want to
Be
eat
nice to
you.
it.
I
It will
want
be
to
nice to
taste
you.
Yeah.
Coming in at #2, everybody, Shadbrock's Place, of course, Husk, where the menu changes
Never been.
daily. It's a good one as well. You're sure to never have the same meal twice. But the one thing that never does change on the menu is bacon cornbread, which is very tasty.
Ooh, the cornbread has
as
bacon
well.
in it?
Yes, it does.
I might like that.
It's in a bacon-greased pan.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have that in my kitchen.
With some honey butter.
All right. Well, some of the others on that list include the Grocery.
Yeah.
Never been. McCrady's.
Yeah.
Never been. Hominy Grill.
That's the one I have been
Drive by
to.
it all the time. Yeah. And the Ordinary.
Oh, that's a good
Where it's
one.
not very ordinary.
There's
never been to
nothing
all.
ordinary about a $25 lobster roll. You guys good over there?
Yeah.
fine.
You ready to go?
You ready?
Okay. Yeah, it's Thursday, August 6th, 5:30 in the a.m. I'm John Bruce.
And I'm Tessa Spencer Adams alongside meteorologist Chad Watson. Thanks for waking up. Good morning, Charleston, everybody. That doesn't belong there.
It goes right there. You know.
No, it doesn't.
It's keeping it warm. See?
If you guys ever want to make Tessa Spencer Adams really upset, try
What?
throwing something in a trash can by her desk.
Oh, really?
Steam will literally come out of her ears.
Really?
Yeah.
So the drama that goes on in the newsroom when I'm, not
Yeah.
back there.
Or pick up my pen without asking
Yeah.
to use it.
Or throw your papers away.
Or throw my. You
Shuffle
do
them all.
that every day. All right. Weather. American.
Well, hey,
saying.
look. At least the weather's not gonna, get anybody all fired up this
Okay,
morning.
good.
New details emerging about Apple's next big debut, and grocery lists will soon be a thing of the past.
I still do those.
Do you?
I still
Like
do.
on paper?
Yeah, on paper. Yeah. Amazon rolling out dash buttons that allow you to reorder household goods without ever leaving your home. We're going to explain it after the break. Yeah.
It was a wild chase in the Lone Star State that came to a very violent end. We will not show you the worst of it. We'll show you part of that chase, a car crashing, then spinning to a stop there. Houston police say they eventually shot and killed the driver. They originally tried to stop him Wednesday because of a traffic violation. Officers say that man then reached back into his car after the crash and refused to show his hands. That's when officials say that police started shooting. The sheriff's office did not find a weapon in that man's car.
But we begin this morning with John Bruce, live at the Maritime Center. John?
Dean, Victoria, good morning. We are at the Maritime Center because that is where city officials as well as Police Chief Greg Mullen will hold a press conference at 7 o'clock this morning to update us on the latest on this investigation. Now, of course, we spoke with city officials as well as Chief Mullen throughout the night. They've been up throughout the night, not only looking for that suspect, but also trying to quell some of the fear, some of the outrage, and some of the sadness surrounding the deaths of 9 people. Shortly after 9 p.m., shots fired. Police rushed to Emmanuel AME Church, an historic place of worship, the mother of AME churches, to an ungodly sight.
This was a very chaotic scene when we arrived. We had a lot of moving parts.
8 dead inside, 2 rushed to MUSC with life-threatening injuries. Police confirm it was a lone gunman. Cops tracking a suspect through the night.
We were tracking this individual with canines. We were making sure that he was not in the area to commit other crimes.
City leaders, including Mayor Joe Riley, quickly responded as he's done too many times before, trying to ease the people of the Holy City in a time of great tragedy.
People in prayer on a Wednesday evening, a ritual, coming together, praying and worshiping God, to have a awful person come in and shoot them is inexplicable, obviously the most intolerable and unbelievable act possible.
Charleston's longtime mayor, who shepherded this city through Hugo, through the Sofa Superstore fire, met with victims' families amidst the chaos.
It was a heartbreaking scene I have never witnessed in my life before. And I told them that this community sends forth their love to them, and that we are all in this together in this community to help those who have lost a loved one.
The wounds still fresh. Attention now turns to the investigation and why someone would bring such violence into a house of God.
I believe this was a hate crime?
I do believe this was a hate crime.
The only reason someone could walk into church and shoot people praying is out of hate. The only reason. That it is the most dastardly act that one can possibly imagine. and we will bring that person to justice.
Powerful words and a renewed call for a much-needed respite from gun violence.
This is an opportunity for us all to unite because of a significant tragedy that has occurred. And what we need right now is we need everybody to come together and pray for these families, and we need them to come together and help us find this person so nobody else is hurt.
And that is exactly what law enforcement is doing at this moment. We're told that that search for a suspect is still ongoing at this hour. Of course, we are awaiting that press conference here at the Maritime Center. That is where Chief Mullen, as well as the rest of the Charleston Police Force, SLED, and other law enforcement agencies will converge at 7 o'clock this morning to update us on the latest on this investigation. Right now, we'll send it back to you in the studio. Of course, we'll be here throughout the morning. John Bruce, ABC News 4. Now, what we can tell you right now is that Charleston Police at that 6 o'clock press conference did, in fact, hand out this flyer. They're disseminating this to the public in hopes that somebody knows the person in this picture. We're going to put that up on the screen there for you right now. We can tell you that the suspect is described as a younger white male. He stands approximately 5'9" in height. He has a slender build. They also released a picture of the vehicle they believe that suspect used to get away from that murder scene. The FBI is now involved in this case, as is the state police and, of course, Charleston police. Right now, they do have a tip line out there for anyone who recognizes the people inside of that flyer they disseminated. It's 1-800-CALL-FBI, 1-800-225-5324. They also told us that the dragnet here has really expanded across the southeastern United States. They've notified state troopers on highways to be on the lookout for this car. Chief Mullen called this an all-hands-on-deck situation. He says if that suspect is indeed still in the Charleston metro area, which they believe that he is, to use extreme caution. Chief wanted everyone to go about their day in a normal, kind of business-like manner, but said, please, everyone, if you see something suspicious, make sure you call that tip line and do not try and approach that suspect yourself. He is considered armed and dangerous. Again, as you guys said, there is a press conference scheduled for 7 o'clock this morning. A lot of media here, a lot of interest in this story, and hopefully we'll find out more information and bring that to you just as soon as we can. From the Maritime Center, John Bruce, ABC News 4, back to you.
What types of things are people saying about the victims?
Well, Tessa, good morning. We can certainly tell you that that memorial certainly grew overnight. I'm going to step out of the shot and give you a live look at this right here. You can see all of the flowers, the teddy bears, the candles, people just coming and pouring their support to this church, to this congregation, and of course to this community. Along with the memorial growing, so too are the feelings of great loss and sadness, not only here in the Holy City, but also throughout the state of South Carolina and the United States of America. Arms uplifted in prayer and thanks, just one of the many heart-wrenching scenes playing out over and over again in front of this historic church. A beacon of Charleston's African-American community, the site of an unthinkable crime. Mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, friends, even complete strangers forced to struggle in the aftermath and face those burning questions as why police say what 21-year-old Dylan Roof would enter Emmanuel AME Church and take 9 innocent lives during a Bible study.
The healing process, of course, always starts with God, but then it continues on by simply taking every day one step at a time. We can't put too much emphasis on where we'll be 20 years from now or 30 years from now. We have to stand where we are, live in this moment, and move forward as God intends us to do.
It is that faith that has lifted this holy city up many times in the past. Seen again during a vigil at Morris Brown AME Church just hours after that heinous shooting tried to rip this community apart. People of different races, religions, and beliefs coming together saying proudly, we will stand as one.
This very powerful vigil, I am convinced, and I will start with myself. I will heal. I will love my sisters, my brothers. I don't care what color they are.
I have full confidence in the ways that we're all gathering together and the ways that we'll all move on from here.
That outpouring of support not just stretching throughout the state of South Carolina.
The shock and horror and the malice beyond belief, absolutely not part of the South Carolina, no.
But across the nation, similar vigils held overnight in Georgia and as far away as Detroit. As a city and a nation mark a tragedy and look for solace in each other. And I think one of the most poignant visuals here down at this memorial, you can see right there, this church, Mother Emanuel, wrapped in police caution tape, 9 white ribbons with the names of each one of those victims, adorned with a candle burning underneath it in their memory. Of course, so much more healing to do with this city. So many more stories to tell and lives interrupted, but we'll be here live at that memorial, bringing you reaction from people coming here, dropping off those gifts, those offerings to try and bring some semblance of normalcy back to the Holy City.
What's the feeling for you right now?
Well, Tessa, we can tell you the feeling right now is that it is steamy. It is hot, as you and Chad and Rob mentioned as well. But of course, those people, a couple of them already here, they want to get a great vantage point. They're staking out because they want to see that flag, which has stood there for about 50 years on the State House grounds. That is going to come down today. As Governor Nikki Haley and others said, indeed, it is a new day here in South Carolina, one that so many people are looking forward to. Tessa, I can tell you that along with all those supporters here, people that want to see that flag come down, because we've seen those mass rallies here at the State House grounds, we've also seen a lot of people that say they want to keep that flag up. In fact, when we got to the state capitol, Columbia, yesterday, we saw several vehicles driving around. We saw several Confederate flags. We know that protesters will be here. We also know that security is tight. In fact, we had to show our media badges. We were kind of cordoned off in that area right near the flag, but the general public is being kept back. Now, there are going to be viewing areas set up here on Capitol grounds for that 10 o'clock ceremony. We're told it is a brief ceremony. That flag will be taken down. It will then be taken by a representative and brought into the relic room inside the State Museum, where it will remain. Thousands of people braved 100-degree temperatures to be a part of history. Indeed, what Nikki Haley called a new day in South Carolina, that flag being taken down.
Take it down! Take it down!
Decades of division erased in a single act, a simple ceremony retiring the Confederate flag from State House grounds. Crowds swelled, some showing up as early as 3 in the morning to get a front row glimpse of history in the making.
To me, symbolizes the stopping of hatred that has been divisive in South Carolina, and it allows togetherness. It means to me that I'll have more freedom and respect in South Carolina.
Reverend Dr. Norville Goff, the man who provided such comfort to the Holy City in the wake of the massacre inside Mother Emanuel, met with the governor hours before that ceremony, hoping the removal of the flag would usher in a new era of peace and understanding, pushing South Carolina forward.
Well, it's an affront to those of us who are African Americans, realizing that bigotry, racism, and even downright disrespect. But good news is that we are doing better and that we are moving forward, and we are now writing a new chapter in the history of South Carolina, not separate and apart, but together.
After 50 years on State House grounds, religious and community leader Reverend Jesse Jackson made it a point to be here on a day he said he thought he'd never see.
This flag represented the racial segregation and separation of resources and races, and so while the flag will come down symbolically, the segregation of resources and the like remains very much real. So this is the beginning of another phase of our struggle to make a more complete union.
Confederate defender Michael Lucas drove to the State House from Virginia today, hoping to spark a conversation. And while the flag has a bloody and checkered past, it represents something different to those who gave their lives in the Civil War.
It represents to me a piece of our history and a Southern culture of noble men that fought in defense of their state and their rights, and in hopes of independence again, from the same ideas that they did in the Revolution.
Even after that flag was taken down, hundreds stayed behind chanting USA, also hugging and shaking hands in what was truly an historic day for South Carolina. In Columbia, I'm John Bruce reporting.